there, it's Anonymous Tea, where we spill the tea anonymously. Hello, 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 everyone. Hello, YouTubers. Hope you guys are all having an amazing day today, sending good vibes, sending positivity, sending blessings, and good energy to each and every single one of you. Thank you so much for tuning in.
So today we're talking BELLE Collective and all things that have nothing to do with the episode. Anything I say is an alleged and in my very personal opinion. This is for entertainment purposes only. None of this is ever personal. So happy holidays, you guys. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Why am I up this early? I don't know. Oh yeah, because I have to finish packing. I mean, not packing. Wrapping gifts, you guys. That is how out of it your girl is. I was like, oh no, there's still gifts I need to wrap for these people. I mean, my family. So nonetheless, I am up and I wanted to just crank out a couple of videos because I'm not sure how this day is going to go. So with that being said, I wanted to do a follow-up video on the viral quitting of AIKISHA dropping the mic on Carlos King's Mr. Mondays, getting him back for how he's treated her, for how he's treated So Gucci, and it has shook the world. It has shook the reality TV world. It is viral everywhere. And, even Carlos King is getting in on the action, which I find interesting. Any other time he's on the mute challenge, but he had screen grabbed on his platform a few memes. One was when you open up your Christmas gifts and it's not what you wanted. Another meme that he screen grabbed was at a group dinner and the bill comes split, but you only ordered an appetizer. When you finally meet your online date in person, and it has, of course, Carlos King's disgusted face of the strained smile when AIKISHA is telling him, thanks but no thanks, I am done with the show. And so then basically he says in the caption, Merry Christmas, raindrops, hashtag King of Reality TV, hashtag BELLE Collective, hashtag Reality with the King, hashtag Mr. Monday Nights, you guys. And then Jamie Tyler from Love and Marriage DC said the internet is undefeated. And of course, Letitia from Love and Marriage Huntsville liked the comment. And then also, Clifton is getting in the action from Love and Marriage DC. Just a lot of commentary from the people. Ashley's in there. Joy's in there. A lot of people, I'm telling you, everybody heard about this, you guys. Everybody heard about this. But what I wanted to talk about as well is Willie has a podcast with JJ, and he did a video yesterday kind of wanting to give a little bit more insight and intel as to why him and AIKISHA decided not to move forward on being on BELLE Collective and everything else. And I believe that video has almost 25,000 views, you guys. So nonetheless, I think Willie and AIKISHA, you guys have gained so many fans. You've gained many new fans who don't even know you, but they are gagged about this drag of Carlos King, and his face literally left frozen on the screen. Because Carlos King is usually the one that likes to throw shade and be messy on these cast members and likes to isolate certain people, encourage his favorites on the show to isolate certain people, and then he likes to throw rocks and hide his hands and pretend like he has no clue why people are dragging him and dragging his production and everything else. And this is the first time live that he can't get in front of a camera and try to spin a narrative and try to, frame a false narrative about AIKISHA and Willie on why they left the show, or go with whatever narrative other cast members were going to try to paint against AIKISHA and Willie. And they're telling you themselves, hey, congrats on the renewal. Great for you. However, we got our pickup letter, so nobody can run with the narrative and try to say that we were fired. No. We definitely got pickup letters to come back for the next season. However, I'm out. However, we're out. And also, before you try to frame this and blame this and try to say that my family or Willie's family or anybody else, that we were acting ghetto, we were acting like hood rats or whatever else, and everything else regarding the fight or anything else you guys want to spin, our lawyers have already contacted Kingdom Reign. So there will not be any type of spinning of any types of narratives. That sounds like a cease and desist. In addition to the resignation. So nonetheless, shout out to them. So I quickly wanted to recap what was said in this podcast. It was about 40 minutes or so. Nonetheless, they start off with JJ, Willie giving JJ the floor to, of course, talk about his late mom, who had passed away December 12th, I believe it was. And he said just how much of a burden it's been in terms of he kept it from his brother, who I guess was in California, and kept it from his sister, who was out of the country in Africa, and waited until they both got back in town. So nearly almost 2 weeks later, it sounds like, or some give or take a few days here and there, he was holding on to all of that until the rest of the family got back and didn't want to ruin their vacations or anything else that they had going on. Plus, he already said, you know, one of his relatives had already lost one of their children and everything else, and it's just a lot. So he was just really saying, you know, wanted to reflect on his mom, wanted to reflect on a lot of the positive, you know, nuggets that she's told him over the years. Talked about how, you know, when our parents tell us, you know, as we're growing up, hey, we're not going to be here forever. Hey, X, Y, and Z, da, 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 da. And you it never sinks in until they're actually no longer here. And it's just so poignant, you guys, if you've ever lost somebody, how you just think back and there's really no good way to, you know, everybody is going to grieve and react differently to a loss of a loved one, but it still doesn't get over the shock factor. The shock factor never leaves. You never get over it. You try to move on and things, but it's times like these in the holidays where you remember who's not here, right? And then it also is unfortunate when you lose people over the holidays. It's like a double whammy, because then it's like when that holiday comes around again, you know, it's just a lot. So, you know, thoughts and prayers to JJ and his family and everybody else. He had also mentioned that his mom feels like he basically said, she had said as well that she feels like she's done everything that she's wanted to do, and that she feels that she can leave this earth knowing that her kids, her grandkids, and everything else are okay. And she said never in a million, she thought that it was cool to see, you know, her son, her grandkids on reality TV, and then she never thought that she would end up being on reality TV. And she said, like, she's just accomplished way more. Also, Willie chimed in and just really talked about the closeness of him and JJ's friendship, and just the closeness of both couples of Willie, AIKISHA, Soguchi, and JJ, and how really they, had it not been for this reality show, they don't know if they would have ever crossed paths, but they've just been really close. They've really been each other's backbone and have really been by each other's side. So that was kind of the takeaway. And then JJ also looked to Willie as well, because he said as well, you know, he understood the loss that, you know, AIKISHA and Willie has gone through as far as when they've lost, you know, their parents as well. So nonetheless, it was just it was bittersweet, you know, because obviously nobody wants to ever go this. You don't want to wish this on anybody. It's awful. And, you know, JJ also reiterated what, you know, when the doctor told him that his mom was not going to make it, and how he felt and everything else. So, so that was kind of the beginning piece of it, a little somber and everything else, but it sounds like, you know, JJ is doing the best that he can, and basically said, listen, I understand these holidays for some are going to be, you know, joyful, and everybody's going to be, you know, all these things, but it's going to be different for me and my family because of what happened with my mom. So then they transition over to what happened on Mr. Mondays, right? And so first, Willie wanted to get JJ's opinion on what he actually felt of the episode and what he felt about the fight. And basically, JJ just felt like he felt kind of like what we had said, that some of the cast members were trying to turn up and impress the Love and Marriage Huntsville guests, i.e. Stormy Steele and Nell Fletcher. And we're trying to do the most, and, you know, also with the liquor flowing and everything else going, It was just a lot of, he just felt people, once the camera started rolling, were just acting very different, and said that for the most part, everybody was cool, everybody was getting along, everybody was fine. And then essentially when Glenn got there, it just went up to another level. But also, JJ said, hey, when I had my shindig, when I threw my event, he said, the girls were trying to do that catty stuff, that arguing stuff, but then when I brought in the strippers, everybody was then having a good time. Everybody was turned up. Everybody was getting along and all this and that. And he's like, listen, if I'm trying to put on an event and I want, the best of the best and everything else taking place, I expect, there to be a treatment of hospitality here. And if you don't want me here, if you don't want me to be here, why did you invite me if you were going to behave like this, right? And so, so then they transition over to, Willie plugs Carlos King's Mr. Mondays and said that he spoke more into as to why he lost his cool and everything else. Still wanted to apologize again for his role and everything, because he still felt ultimately he should have protected his wife and should have protected his family and not gotten out of character out of that. And so nonetheless, shouted out the fact that, Carlos King gave him that opportunity to say his piece on the platform, give his side of everything that took place, just with the energy, with the drinking and everything else involved, as to, how things just quickly went from 0 to 100 real quick and all this other stuff. And then he wanted to debunk some of the false narratives that are being put out there about him and about Aikisha's family and other people trying to absolve blame in their role and how things escalated and went left. And so then the conversation turned into, of course, the shock heard around the world, the viral moment that went around the world, which was the announcement, courtesy of AIKISHA, that him and AIKISHA were no longer going to be on BELLE Collective, that they were done, mic drop and everything else. And before Willie gave his commentary, he wanted to hear what JJ thought. And JJ had the funniest reaction, because JJ was like, I'm watching, I'm looking at everything that's going on, and then I'm looking at the reaction when this is happening, because he's like, he's happy about all of the plugging for all of the positive things that they've got going on, that AIKISHA and Soguchi have got going on, and all these things. Like, everything was going in a certain direction. There was a celebration that you got your pickup letter. Everything was literally Gucci. Everything was like, all right, we're going to go back. We're going to run this back and everything else. And then it was like, oh yeah, I'm not coming back. And then JJ was like, I thought the screen froze. I thought something was buffering. I was like, wait, what? And so then Willie chimed in and was like, listen, ultimately, because he was like, he was shook too. And Willie said, ultimately, he basically was saying without saying, like, JJ, you and Soguchi have a decision to make as well. You guys have a decision to make as well. Whether or not you guys are going to hold down the fort without myself and AIKISHA, or if you guys are going to make a move as well. And go from there. So it kind of sounded like, things, AIKISHA might not be the only departure from BELLE Collective, which I got that vibe anyways. But nonetheless, we'll see whether or not Soguchi sticks it out, because my thing is this: if she does, she's essentially going to be the target. She's going to be enemy number one. It's going to be, they're going to do, essentially what this is going to be. This is going to be what happens if Soguchi stays, is when Real Housewives of Atlanta season 9, after Phaedra got let go, but Portia stayed on, the cast basically went after Portia, but really Phaedra needed to get a lot of the smoke and kind of got absolved from a lot of the smoke because she was no longer there. And I feel like in the group's plan to try to isolate AIKISHA and try to spread all these false narratives and try to say that she's a hood rat, that she's ghetto, that all this and that, that is not going to fly now, that she's not there. They can't spread that narrative. but they'll try to via Soguchi. They'll try to make Soguchi responsible and everything else, since they can't blame AIKISHA, since AIKISHA won't be there. So nonetheless, we'll see where that goes from there. But the other side too, if Soguchi and JJ leaves as well, then they don't have any storyline to blame, right? They're going to have to actually clock in and give something else. So that'll be interesting to see. Also, Willie wanted to give, a little bit of more insight, and he said kind of what I thought happened. Basically, when this fight actually happened, when this actually was filmed, and how everything got escalated and went left. So this was even before they even filmed the reunion. That Willie told AIKISHA, I'm done. I'm done. This isn't us. This isn't what we thought reality TV was going to be. Willie said that he has a familiarity with reality TV, but he wasn't sure how all of that was going to play out as it pertained to the BELLE Collective. And, really, he said he wanted to utilize BELLE Collective, wanted to utilize reality TV to show a positive black family, wanted to show how crazy in love he was with his black wife, AIKISHA, wanted to show how he's, giving back to the community, building a legacy, wanted to show the charitable work and the work that they were doing and all of these things to pour back into the community. And he said that he did not like that the show portrayed him as pompous and as somebody who thought that he was better than anybody else. And he said, listen, anything that I made commentary on was stuff that was already being presented on the show. This wasn't like behind the scenes gossip or messy gossip and they're just getting a soundbite of it. He's like, I'm reacting, like, for instance, with Boosie, little Boosie's twin, Glenn, rapping. That was something that was already, out there, right? And he's like, I didn't think I was saying anything that nobody else was thinking, but for whatever reason, people thought that I was, throwing shade or whatever else. And he was like, it was a joke. And he was like, I don't understand why people are trying to take that to heart and trying to make that a thing. And he just felt like, people are not being their genuine selves. He feels like Glenn without Cliff is a different person, but then when Glenn gets around Cliff, he tries to act like, he's on Cliff's level and everything else, and it's just embarrassing and cringeworthy and everything else. And so he said with AIKISHA, he said, with how everything's kind of been spun and played out and then the fight, kind of escalating things, he's like, we've got too much to lose. He's like, we're trying to genuinely, give back to Bear Street. Like, AIKISHA's family has had businesses, has had history and legacy in this town for, over 100 years or so. So, nonetheless, how is it going to look like us trying to meet with city officials, us trying to meet with the police and get more work done and get more stuff done on Bear Street and other, areas of the community? And they're going to see this fight on the show and be like, well, how can we take you seriously when you're on this messy reality TV show? Why should we, either give you funding or approve any permits or approve any other types of organizations or buildings or anything else that you want to do down here? And y'all are acting like this on a reality TV show. He said, we have too much to lose. We have too much success. There is too much that we've got going on that is positive. I've got, of course, my, sports gig. I've got real money. I've got real things going on. I've got other businesses that I'm a part of. And this reality TV isn't what we thought it was going to be. So rather than try to stick it out and trying to continue to try to prove people wrong or try to prove a different narrative, if it's going to be spun a certain way anyways, we're just going to say we're out. We're just going to leave and you guys are going to have to figure it out yourself. And I don't blame them. They don't need the money. They don't need this show. And it just sucks that the cast couldn't see the bigger picture. And this is my issue with reality TV. And this is why reality TV is not fun to watch anymore. It's because, like I always say, these people get jealous of their other cast members. They get jealous of the other cast members, especially if that cast member is more successful than them and doesn't need reality TV, to put forth any additional streams of income or any additional streams of success. They already have it. But they use the show. If you're willing to do AKA Productions' dirty work and instigate drama and instigate mess to make it seem like you're the top dog, to make it seem like you're the mover and shaker of the group, they will give you all the screen time in the world, and they will hide any alleged cheating. They will hide any alleged misogyny or ABUSE that is going on in your own backyard to try to take down the actual successful couple or try to take down the actual nice people, right? And these people feel a certain way because these people are not in, these marriages where people are crazy in love with their spouses. There is some type of caveat as to why they're there, right? And I just think they were intimidated by Willie and AIKISHA. And they didn't know what to do other than to try to ice them out of the show. And they were going to utilize this fight. Whatever rumors are taking place of whatever we did or didn't see and who started it and whose family was or wasn't there. Because Willie also mentioned in the podcast that he had a problem with them, trying to make it seem like there was this big entourage that everybody else had. He was like, no. He was like, we've got to debunk all of this. We've got to debunk all these false narratives and these false accusations because it's not it. So nonetheless, that was essentially what he said. And hey, I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Listen, I wish more reality stars would recognize that if it gets to a point on a show that you're losing the reality of it all, and it is jeopardizing your legit careers, it is jeopardizing your own family and everything else, and you guys have lost your way, the worst thing you could do is continuing to film the show, because next thing you know, either your marriage is going to implode or you're going to, continue the implosion, but try to still put up a united front for sake of continuing to get a reality TV check. And at that point in time, if you're having to front, if you're having to pretend and all these things just to maintain a reality TV check, then it is time to go. But it's just sad that this cast could not celebrate each other's wins and looked at somebody else that actually was doing more than them, and instead of being inspired, instead of working harder and trying to perfect their craft and try to perfect goals that they had, they saw it as an intimidation and saw it as a threat and wanted to get them off the show. And I'm just tired of it. They've done this on Housewives, they've done this on Potomac, they've done this on Basketball Wives, they've done this on all these reality shows where all these people, they get so insecure, they get so jealous of each other, and they're like, okay, well, we need to get you off the show. No. How about you clock in and give the people something from your real life instead of making somebody else's life your storyline because you feel a certain type of way? No. And then the thing that people don't realize is, okay, once you get these people off the show, whether you ice them out or they choose to quit on their own accord, that means more attention is going to be on you the next season. That means the spotlight's going to be on you the next season, on what you're going to contribute. And if you're lacking, it's going to show that these bullying tactics, because that's what it is, it's bullying, to try to isolate people and, refuse to film with certain people or put out lies about people and all these things to try to make it seem like, oh, they're so scary, we can't be around them anymore. Grow up. Y'all did all that stuff to Marie, and now you guys are just going to completely forget all the drama that y'all had with Marie, all so that you could come together to get AIKISHA off the show. Like, make it make sense, you guys. But all that to say, this never ends well when you guys do this, because the show then lacks authenticity and transparency, and it turns into high school Mean Girls, and it's just lame. So there's that. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you're notified the moment I post new content on my channel. And with that being said, I'll talk to you guys again very soon.